NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Welcome to the... I've contemplated a bunker for just throwing 5 mil into like a legitimate hardcore,
5 mil?
Oh yeah, maybe 10.
God. Who's got that kind of money?
I do, but that wasn't supposed to be a flex. It really was supposed to be like, that's how serious I would take something like that, because
oh my God,
there's so much fear mongering going on, Colby. That's the only reason I would cough up that much to begin with, and I would want it done right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be able to make sure you got your water cisterns, you got your solar, you got your wind power,
Literally everything going on up top so that I can stay alive forever down low. Because one of my biggest fears, Colby, let me tell you, one of my biggest fears is... All right, squad, welcome a powerhouse of talent to AFK. Today we have the incredible Colby Minifie joining us. You might know her as the razor-sharp cunning Ashley Barrett from the smash hit Amazon Prime series, The Boys. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Colby started acting at just 11 years old. She's been making waves ever since. From her standout performances in Jessica Jones and Fear the Walking Dead, to her theater work and off-Broadway magic, she's done it all. She's a Juilliard graduate, a former young arts scholar, and she's even graced the big screen in films like I'm Thinking of Ending Things. So let's give it up for the versatile, talented, and always entertaining Colby Minifie. You are in for a treat, folks. How do you say your last name so I don't mess it up?
Minifie.
Minifie.
Yes.
Minifie. Colby freaking Minifie. How the hell are you? How are you?
I'm so good. I'm in LA. I'm very rarely in LA. And I really like it. I'm staying in Pasadena and it's so beautiful and everyone's so nice and the palm trees are gorgeous. And yeah,
are you serious?
Yeah.
To everything. I mean, listen, LA, last time I went, it was beautiful. It was gorgeous as well. The weather was actually fantastic, but the people are nice.
Yes.
In LA?
Well, in Pasadena, I was walking around the streets with my friend last night and they were like, hi. Oh, hello. And everyone was like, hi. And some woman came up to me on the street and was like, you probably get this all the time, but your hair color is just so beautiful. I was like, geez.
I would never leave.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Nice.
I would never leave. All those compliments. I can't tell you the last time a stranger complimented me.
I know, it's nice. The compliments really sell a place,
Yeah, that's true. It is true. You know what I mean? It's all about the vibes. It's all about the vibes. Colby, let's cut into the meat and potatoes. Okay. Let's cut the shit.
Potatoes.
You play an incredible role in one of the most hype shows of all time. The Boys. I'm going to ask one of my own questions instead of this document real quick. You're in LA right now. Where do you guys film?
Toronto.
Is there a reason that you guys are in Toronto?
Yeah, tax cuts, I guess, for production.
Hell yeah.
Not for us. I mean,
of course,
23% of my check goes to the Canadian government. It's fine. If I had access to like their healthcare system, I'd be like, yay. But no. They film in Toronto, and I think Toronto gets doubled for New York quite often.
Are you serious? Like downtown Toronto?
Yeah, I don't know why, because I'm a native New Yorker and I'm like,
Not even close.
no, yeah, but I think, and also the crew up there is just great. We have a really amazing, hardworking crew, and Toronto there's so much production up there that they have just really incredible crew members. And so I think that's part of it. I mean, everybody works so hard on this show. And I don't know what we would do without our crew. We have such a big cast that like nobody works every single day. Not a single person on our show as an actor works every single day, but the crew does.
That's nice.
And the crew is keeping us going at an unbelievable level of
just
energy.
Top-notch crew. I love it, right? When people say, congratulations, you're up there getting handed your Grammy or your ESPY, or I'm messing up all of the your Golden Globe, whatever. They're like, I'd like to thank the production crew. Or ESPY. I told you, brain fried. So you've been doing this. The Boys came out in when? 2019, right? Was like the first year?
Yeah.
All right. Did you know?
2018.
2018. When you filmed this show, were you like, did you guys know? Did the crew know? Were you guys like, this is going to be a banger?
No.
Really?
I mean, I didn't. I was like, well, also when I first got the script, I had just I had gotten this like amazing studio movie that had collapsed within 4 days.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I've made it. And then within 4 days it collapsed, and I had said no to like 2 plays to do it. And I was like so excited. I was like the biggest deal for me, biggest job I've ever gotten. And then the whole thing just like lost steam very, very quickly because of some weird thing that happened. And then that weekend I got an audition for this stupid superhero show. I was like, what the fuck is this? Fuck this industry. I hate this. And I put it on tape. I like didn't even, I didn't even.
You didn't even try. Like you just like, were like, you sent it in.
Yeah.
And it probably ended up being perfect for your character.
Yeah, well. The problem is I didn't hear anything for 5 months. And then, 5 months. And then like, I guess, the months later they were like, so you taped for this a long time ago. Do you remember this thing, the boys? I was like, oh yeah, that thing that I didn't even give 2 shits about. They were like, yeah, so we want you to tape it again, but less broad, more grounded. I was like, not as broad comedy. I was like, oh yeah, okay. That's still the note that I get, from our wonderful Kripke, because I, of course, lean into like, I'm like, ooh, slapstick, let's go.
Right.
And then 3 days later, I was on a plane. I made another tape, sent that in. 3 days later, I was on a plane. And I was only supposed to be like a recurring in the first season. And then I guess they were like, we like what you're doing. Let's keep going, which I cannot believe.
I mean, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I feel like what the show is, right in reality, if superheroes are real, it's so spot on. And your job as like, what would you say exactly? Like, it's not like a manager. It's not, what was like your role?
I'm their like PR. I was originally their PR person. Their publicist.
It nails it. It nails it. Like, and you nail it, by the way, like the stress, like I can already imagine the PR nightmare of somebody who works for like someone like Kanye West, right? Somebody who's already always making mistakes, right? Like they're on speed dial.
Yeah.
But then like the way that you sell the stress levels of being a PR for superheroes, and like realistic superheroes, not Superman, dude, you nail it. You really do give this like this. I'm serious. It's like this stressful tone of like, oh my god, like when you were like losing your hair and shit. Like I don't know if that was your idea or if it was just already in the script of like like constantly pulling at your hair and stuff. It was perfect. Yeah, it was awesome.
I pitched that because I was like, she needs something to release her. Like I need like to be able to tell the story in a way that is more than me just like making faces, stress faces,
Yes.
Like her body needs to have something going on. And Kripke was like, oh yeah, trichotillomania is a good idea. Let's try that. And then he ran with it. But that's what's wonderful about Kripke is he like, he's just so collaborative and the best idea
That's
wins.
gotta be nice.
Who it's coming from. Yeah. But
I love that.
yeah, but thank you for saying all of that, by the way. And I do think story-wise, it is helpful to have Ashley there just as like, even if I was like a spectator and not playing Ashley, I do think it's like helpful to have her character because there is somebody who is freaking out about these very public fuck ups. There is somebody who's like who's like watching the stock prices
Just
a roller coaster based on what these people are doing. And it's interesting how like one person can change the financial stability of a company, it's just like, so to have somebody whose job it is to like wrangle these people, these children, essentially, I think it's great on their end to have written her,
Yeah. I love it. I love you in all your scenes. They're always amazing and funny. And like as somebody who has, had his fair share of PR mess ups or like, where you just lean on the PR people and they're just like, don't say anything, say anything. Or like, and then to go against it sometimes and then to like see the reaction. I feel for you.
Yeah.
So I definitely connected to your character.
Thank you. But
absolutely.
Also in terms of like what the vibe was on set, I mean, I think everybody knew in the first season that we were part of something really exciting. Like the writing was so good that we were like, this is so crazy to be on this. Everybody was so happy to be there. But I don't think we had like a screening when we, in LA months after we filmed the first season, and I got to go to that. And I remember sitting and watching the first 3 episodes. It was just the cast and some of the editing people and Kripke. And I remember being there and being like, oh shit, this is awesome. What we've made is awesome. And feeling really excited, and that's a crazy feeling because you never know how something's gonna work out. But anyway.
Yeah, no matter what, you can think you have a hit, and like at the end of the day, the audience will decide, right?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you guys just had a winner from the very first episode, the very first scene, right? The very first scene, Huey's girlfriend gets ran over. Like,
I know. I remember
I was like in shock. Colby, I was in shock as somebody like this was one of the most gruesome shows, or like. I haven't really watched a lot of gruesome movies, but this is one of the most gruesome shows I've ever watched.
Yeah, well, one of the most gruesome shows I've ever been a part of, and I was on Fear the Walking Dead. Like, there's some disgusting shit that happens on that show, and this is like, wait, we're gonna build a 20-foot penis hole for a guy to walk through? What? Like,
dude, that scene also unbelievable.
Or like Sausage Fest, what's his name? There's a guy who has the very long
he's just got
penis.
I'm like, what are we? The orgy, that whole orgy scene was,
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be afraid if I was like, I would almost be afraid that like people would think it's, almost like, too over the top, too gross, but like it's stuck in the late, it's 2020, 2024.
Yeah.
People are down. I think
they're down.
You definitely set the tone, I think, in the future of like shows to be like, hey, let's get fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, remember that scene that you guys, a director, like, remember that scene you guys canceled or cut out like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, a decade ago? It's like, let's do it now.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to look at it and really we're going to start to see some really great shows coming from this, scenes, etc.
What's amazing is that Kripke handles it all with like really intricate specificity. Like I remember when he was talking about when Translucent was had to pee into a cup or something while he was in that cage in the first season.
Yeah.
And I remember him being like, well, how does the pee come out? Like in terms of the, the CGI of the pee and how it comes out, what the pee hole looks like, but it's invisible. Like that, the specificity of that is
not just gross to being gross, is what you're saying, right? Yeah. He's not just like, let's just blow up a whale to blow up a whale. Like it's detail
all done
in
with
it.
Thought. Yeah, it's all done with thought. And I think if it wasn't, it would be a different situation. If it was just done with, whoa, cool, but it's done with like, how can we how can we tell the story in the best possible way that will get everybody on board and get everybody excited, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
AFK with Ninja.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
Who do you like vibe with the most, or in general, like on-set chemistry? Like, is it like family? Is it like that's how I always wish if I'm ever in a show.
Yeah, and my favorite people to work off of. I mean, I just am such a fan. You know, the guy PJ Byrne, this actor PJ Byrne who plays Bork. He's the guy who plays the director.
Yes, got it. Yep.
Yeah, who I end up fucking on the toilet and
hell yeah.
yeah. So they like blossomed this romantic thing between us because he came on set one day. He had to be pitching Dawn of the Seven, the movie. He thought that the cue cards that like he had to be pitching all of it, and it was written in the script as if it was a voiceover. The pitch was a voiceover, and it didn't seem as though he was going to be saying any of it. And I thought that too. And we got on set and they were like, oh yeah, no, it'd be great if you could say all this stuff. And not only did he whip all of that out so quickly, like he learned it so quickly, but he added unbelievably funny jokes on the day very quickly. And I just sat there across the room in awe of him and was like, this is who I want to be. I want to be just like PJ Byrne. And so we like would banter and like come up with all this fun stuff. Like the scene that we had, having sex on the toilet, like we rewrote the whole scene and like he came up with all these jokes, like he had to keep saying, I'm about to come. And the things that instead of saying I'm about to come, he would say, I'm about to Sputnik in your Sputnik. Like crazy lines that like only could come out of PJ Byrne's head. And, you know, we were quarantining in Canada prepping for that. And we would just get on Zoom and shoot the shit, you know, the whole time. And it was it was really fun. And I love working with Chase. You have to be so smart to play that dumb. And it gets to be too much with us. Like, I think they're like, we can't put them in a scene together because we're too, you know, we get too slapstick comedy. Like it's just so much fun playing off of him. But I can't help it. I think he's so great. I think, and everybody is just great. Like everybody's
just a cast of the ages. You didn't even realize you guys were putting it together. I've never even heard of Chase Crawford until The Boys, and like The Deep is just one of the most likable, hilarious. Yeah. Well, not, you know, maybe not after the first scene.
Not entirely, yeah.
And not entirely, but after, right, when he has this new, you know, this new coming to who he is, and you know.
Yeah. Well, in order to play somebody that horrible, you know, same with Ashley, same with Homelander, like there has to be a heart behind it. Like there has to be something that the audience can connect to. And with Chase, he just does it so well.
He makes you feel for the octopus, dude. Like
he makes you feel for like
that scene hurt my feelings.
Yeah. He makes you feel for a guy that like only really connects with fish, you know? Like that's hard to do. And I feel my heart goes out to that character, even though he did some really horrible shit, but it really feels shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But also like that opening with Starlight in the first season.
Also completely out of left field.
Yeah, but it feels like it's coming from a place of like, oh, I thought this is how it worked, you know. And from
like an ignorance almost, right? Like he legitimately thought it was just the way of the seven.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also like I think I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of men felt that way, you know? And finally women are like, no.
No.
It does not have to be that way, you know?
Whatever her power is. I don't even know what it is. Her eyes glow.
Electricity.
The amount of time she powers up and then, you know, Homelander's just like, no. It's like, oh, okay. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I mean,
okay. So Colby, I'm going off of what you just said because like I'm getting it a little bit more into voice acting and a little bit more into this, and like I'm talking about like being like vulnerable, like when you're filming those like sex scenes, even if it's like this one was not intimate, so I imagine it was way easier than normal. But like, do you just how the hell do you amp yourself up to just pretend to be banging? You know what I mean? I'm serious.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, are you talking about the one on the toilet or the one that just aired?
The toilet.
Like,
I'm talking about
the one. Okay.
Both,
because the dominatrixy one was a whole other game. I mean, to me, the only way to approach those scenes is with like all of the communication and trust happening up front. So I like, what's great about PJ is we like had a bunch of conversations and talked about every fear and hope that we had for the scene before we got there. And I think like, I mean, what's great is they've, now SAG has hired intimacy coordinators, has required intimacy coordinators on set, which we had for the dominatrix scene in season 4, which I was really, really grateful for.
Okay. That was going to be a quick little question. Like, was that helpful?
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, that's awesome. I never even heard of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And having an intimacy coordinator is like, I mean, you have a stunt coordinator, right? You have, I mean, why wouldn't we have somebody that we can
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Who's a professional and like, also, if I'm uncomfortable with doing something, it's hard for me to tell. Sometimes it can be hard for me to tell the director, especially if I have had trouble asking questions to the director before, or the director's got a certain vibe or something. And so to be able to like, and we hire.
It's nice to have someone in your corner, right?
Exactly.
I love that. Like a safe person to open up to, and who will not be like, no, you have to do this.
Yeah,
right?
Or like, if you don't do it, you're going to get fired, which is never anything that's ever been said to me personally, but has happened in the history of this industry.
I'm sure. Right, for sure.
And also, we hire really great people on The Boys, directors always, but sometimes it just can be hard to navigate. Is this really essential for the storytelling, or is this like just my own anxiety, or like, or is this just,
I get it.
And to be able to talk to somebody whose job it is to be like, also, let's be clear, the intimacy coordinator on the dominatrix scene was so helpful in terms of talking about what does this masturbation look like? What does this orgasm look like? What is this orgasm about? And in order to have and what is this tickle torture about? In order to have those conversations up front, I needed to be able to talk to her and tease those questions out. Then I could talk to Kripke, the director. Then by the time I got on set, I was like, all right, we're all on the same page. We've had the conversations, and then we can just have fun. And also, all of the sex scenes I've ever had to do are for comedy purposes. Comedy first, Yes. And like you said, they're not as intimate. It doesn't mean they're not as hard, but it does mean that there's a level of like, well, what's going to make this funnier?
Yeah. Which I feel like that will always make something easier when you're like, okay, if comedy is the underline, right, of the scene, like I feel like that's not as much pressure. Not saying that it isn't pressure at all, but like, yeah, I get it. I like that.
It also
and
means
that's so cool.
Like,
I didn't know. Thank you so much for sharing all this.
Oh yeah. But also it means like if there's, if it's for comedy, there's a certain kind of vulnerability that comes with comedy where you have to fail forward. You have to risk a lot and hope that it's funny. And and that and a sex scene kind of go hand in hand. You're like, you are like putting yourself out there and risking in order to tell this important part of the story. And if the outcome is people are laughing when you're, masturbating on camera, then great.
Hell yeah. Got it. Well, thank you, Colby. I mean, listen, I could talk about the boys forever. I could talk about to you forever. I only have you for another 9 minutes, so I'm just going to start, just getting some random shit, just asking you random questions. For the last 9. So daily routine, what does a typical day look like for you when you're not filming?
Typical day, I do a lot of, I have a lot of hobbies because I need to do.
That was my next question.
Yeah. I do a lot of ceramics. I quilt. I do wood cuts, and now I'm in the middle of like renovating a house right now by myself. I need something I'm doing like plumbing and electrical and tiling and I'm having a lot of fun with that. So, that's been really great.
If there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm sending a private jet to wherever your home address is, and I need you to come right back. Right, you're going to be in our little group. We'll protect you. I mean, I got a group of guys, great group, great core, but having someone like you would be, you can do all those things. We need you. So
that is the plan. It is a climate change bunker. This place.
It has to be. It has to be. I've contemplated a bunker for throwing 5 mil into like a legitimate hardcore,
5 mil.
Oh yeah, maybe 10.
God. Who's got that kind of money?
I do, but that wasn't supposed to be a flex. It really was supposed to be like, that's how serious I would take something like that, because
oh my God,
there's so much fear mongering going on, Colby. That's the only reason I would cough up that much to begin with, and I would want it done right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be able to make sure you got your water cisterns, you got your solar, you got your wind power,
Literally everything going on up top so that I can stay alive forever down low. Because one of my biggest fears, Colby, let me tell you, one of my biggest fears is, and it happens, I don't know if you watched 100 Days or The 100, I think is what it's called on Netflix. Great show. It's about a nuclear war that happens and everyone has to go up onto a spaceship to survive. And then they send 100. Oh, it's so sick. But in the show, spoilers, they find a bunker and everyone's dead inside.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Because they didn't have enough. They only had enough supplies for like 5 years. And to me, like that is one of my worst fears would be to be in a place like that, to be in a bunker, if you will, whatever, and to be like, okay, guys, we only have food for another 6 months, and the radiation is 100% still up there. Like, we're dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At that point, you just be like, you know what? Let's just play some fucking games and like do some running charades, and like we'll just die, and that'll be it. And we'll just kill each other at the end of this.
But it won't be. You'll either starve or you'll kill each other, starve, kill yourself, or open up the gates and die of radiation in for God knows how long.
Yeah, radiation, that does not sound fun to me.
Exactly. So, like, terrible.
But, like, games and fun and being like, playing Mafia, like, at the end of this one, you're really going to die.
Oh, dude, I love Mafia. Great game. I take it way too seriously, though, so I can't play it amongst friends, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
I like to win, and, it's the same with like Settlers of Catan. I don't know if you ever played that game.
And that's why you have $5 million.
Exactly. To blow on freaking, Doomsday. Exactly.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. If approved, applications are typically funded the next business day or sooner. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
Do you enjoy traveling? You're in LA right now, but where's like the craziest place you've been?
Oh, I've been all over the place. I've been.
Where's the craziest place you've had to go for work to film something? Or the coolest, not craziest. I don't know.
Coolest for work. I'm trying to think. I've done more traveling like outside. I mean, I've really been Toronto, LA, Spokane, Washington, Atlanta. I haven't really had to.
So just the usual suspects.
Yeah, but I have like I did the Camino years ago, walked across Spain. I've
Oh, Jesus, you walked across Spain? That's awesome.
I walked across Spain. I did this month-long sailing trip in the Sea of Cortez years and years ago. I did I love traveling, but to me, the best travel and the best way to travel is because I have ADD and need
Naturally.
to be doing something,
Same.
I am restless, and so I need to have a sense of accomplishment at all times. And so even on vacation, I don't know how to lie on a beach and relax. That's just not my deal. So I want for me, the Camino is the best kind of vacation because I could walk every day. You're seeing something new every day, and you are walking towards something, and you're just paying attention to your body and seeing what comes and releasing control over the situation and just taking care of yourself and taking care of your feet and meeting people and listening to music. And it's the greatest thing. So my plan, ultimately, one of my goals is to do the PCT or the Continental Divide or, one of these John Muir Trail, one of these longer,
not even longer walks.
Yeah. Because it's incredibly healing for me to be in that kind of situation.
Would you ever do coast to coast?
No, I think the Forrest Gump route is a little long for me. I feel like that's yeah.
Well, talk about a journey though,
Yeah, that's a real.
I mean, if you're walking it though, I feel if you're that would be what? I mean,
I don't know. Probably years. Yeah, because it takes 5 months to go from Mexico to Canada, so it would probably be a year to go across the country. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. Actually, Mexico to Canada is 2,700 miles, and it's about 3,000. It'd probably be the same 6 months. Also, if I'm going to walk across the country, I want to walk across Ireland or do Scotland, do the.
Well, countries are small. You could nail that. You could easily do that.
Yeah, do it on a weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a quick little pop over, walking across Ireland.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, listen, I only have 2 more minutes, so I'm just going to rip some this or that.
Rip it.
Just ripping it. All right, New York or LA?
Oh my God, New York. I'm 5th generation New Yorker. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? Of course, I knew the answer. I had to ask it anyways.
Yeah, you know the answer,
Stage or screen acting?
Stage.
Ooh,
well,
okay.
You know what? I would do. I mean, they're both amazing for different reasons. What I love about the stage is the bottomlessness of these plays and getting to find them new every night and find new things every night. And it's where I come from. So I'm always a stage person. However, what I love about doing film, especially if you're given time to find it with people is the spontaneity and getting all that captured and then moving on. I love that. So both, let's say both. Oh my God.
All right, that's fair. Okay, improv or carefully rehearsed?
Oh.
Deep questions. Deep thoughts with the deep.
Because I've had a lot of experience with carefully rehearsed, and I love that because then you can really just let it rip. It's like Cassavetes, right? Then it's Cassavetes movies are really everything is word perfect, but they're allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, and is what turns me on. Improv though scares the shit out of me, and I want to get more into that, and because it scares me, I know I have to dive deeper into that. So yeah, I mean, both for different things, different reasons, both with the intention of getting into a flow state.
Great answer.
Oh,
all right. Final question. It's not going to be what my producer just highlighted. Fuck you. It's going to be a simple one. Date night out or a date night in?
Date night out? What are we doing? Let's walk around and talk about weird shit we find on the street.
I
What's that
already
building?
knew your answer was good. I already knew it because you just said you can't sit still. Of course, it's not going to be a day night in. It's not going to be a movie night.
We're sitting on the couch and gonna be like, so what game are we playing? What are we doing? You want to cook? Let's go out. Let's have a drink anyway, and no, let's stay in. Let's go back.
Got it.
It would be like that.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it. Colby, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. This was really fun.
Absolutely. I mean, I had a blast. And I hope you did too.
I did.
And there you have it, folks. We've reached the end of another epic AFK with Ninja episode. If you've enjoyed the journey thus far, please consider leaving a rating, review, and hitting that follow button. We have a ton of incredible guests coming your way, and I want you to be the first to know when a new episode drops. Until next time, catch you soon.
It's AFK with Ninja. Ninja's got a show. It's AFK with Ninja, the best podcast in the world.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
With chocolate treats mixed into dark chocolate ice cream, the Tillamook Chocolate Collection is a chocolate game changer. Because the thing that pairs best with chocolate is more chocolate. Tillamook Chocolate Collection Ice Cream. Extraordinary dairy.